Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Renuka RS with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures farmers on continuity of guaranteed MSP and government procurement of agriculture produce. Prime Minister says 2 crore families have been provided with pure drinking water under Jal Jeevan Mission in just 1 year. New Delhi says India has never accepted China's unilaterally defined 1959 line of actual control and this position has been consistent. Government says over 51 lakh patients recovered from COVID-19, which is highest in the world. Recovery rate improves to 83.01%. Noted filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor appointed as president of FTII Society and chairman of FTII Governing Council. And in IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals face Sunrisers Hyderabad in Abu Dhabi. In a special series on the occasion of 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, we begin this bulletin with Bapu Ki Baat. In his speech on 19th October 1947, Mahatma Gandhi had spoken about Swaraj.
मेरी व्याख्या की स्वराज में तो हम एक दूसरे को भाई भाई समझकर बैठे। हमारे दुश्मन कौन हो सकते हैं? क्या हमारे भाई दुश्मन होंगे? मुसलमान के दुश्मन हिंदू सिख और हिंदू और सिख के दुश्मन मुसलमान, या तो उन दोनों के सिख पीछे ख्रिस्ती या तो पारसी यहूदी कोई भी हिंदुस्तान के हो, ऐसे कैसे दुश्मन हो सकते? हम तो दुनिया में किसी को दुश्मन बनाना नहीं चाहते, हम किसी के दुश्मन बनना नहीं चाहते। वो मेरे स्वराज की व्याख्या बन जाती है।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has assured farmers about continuity of guaranteed minimum support price and government procurements of agri-produce. He was speaking after inaugurating 6 mega projects in Uttarakhand under the Namami Gange mission today.
2014 में फल और सब्जियों को एपीएमसी एक्ट से बाहर कर दिया गया। इसका उन्हें और आसपास के साथी किसानों को बहुत फायदा हुआ। 4 साल पहले उन्होंने अपने गांव के साथी किसानों के साथ मिलकर एक किसान उत्पादक समूह की स्थापना की। आज गांव के किसान स्वीट कॉर्न और बेबी कॉर्न की खेती करते हैं। उनके उत्पाद आज दिल्ली की आजादपुर मंडी, बड़ी रिटेल चेन तथा 5 स्टार होटलों में सीधे सप्लाई हो रहे हैं। जानते हैं इन किसानों के पास क्या अलग है? अपने फल सब्जियों को कहीं पर भी किसी को भी बेचने की ताकत है और ये ताकत ही उनकी इस प्रगति का आधार है। अब यही ताकत देश के दूसरे किसानों को भी मिली है।
The Prime Minister said major reforms have been brought to empower farmers, workers, youth and women of the country. He criticized the opposition for launching agitation against the reforms in labour and farm sectors. Taking a sharp jibe at the opposition, he said that politics is based only on the fundamentals of protest. Mr. Modi criticized the opposition for launching agitation against the reforms in labour and farm sectors. Our correspondent has the details.
Prime Minister said the opposition, which does not stand either with the farmers, youths or soldiers in the country, is rattled by the thought of losing avenues of getting black money after the new farm bills have been enacted. Enumerating instances including opposition's protest and questioning against Jan Dhan accounts, one nation, one tax GST system, one rank, one pension, Prime Minister asserted that the political party which ruled the country for over 7 decades never favoured revolutionary initiatives. Prime Minister emphatically asserted that the defence forces were waiting for decades for modernised weapons and new fighter jets. He said it is the current government which got the Rafale jets in the country and boosted the morale and capability of Indian soldiers. Mr. Modi affirmed that the government will continue to come up with the schemes to empower the people of the country and urged citizens not to fall prey to the blatant lies propagated by the self-seeking opposition parties. Anand Chaturvedi, AIR News, Delhi.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today inaugurated 6 mega projects in Uttarakhand under the Namami Gange mission through video conference. The projects include construction of a 68 MLD million litres per day sewage treatment plant, upgradation of the existing 27 MLD at Jagjitpur and construction of an 18 MLD sewage treatment plant at Sarai in Haridwar. The inauguration of 68 MLD Jagjitpur project marks the completion of the first sewage treatment project taken up on hybrid annuity mode of the public-private partnership. The Haridwar-Rishikesh zone contributes about 80% wastewater load in the river Ganga. These plants will play a significant role in keeping the river Ganga clean. In all, 30 projects are now complete in Uttarakhand to manage the pollution from 17 towns near river Ganga. This is a landmark achievement. Addressing the inaugural function, the Prime Minister said the Ministry of Jal Shakti is now engaged in the mission of delivering water to every house in the country, and about 1 lakh families are being connected to pure drinking water facilities every day under the Jal Jeevan mission. He said drinking water has been delivered to 2 crore families of the country in just 1 year. The logo of Jal Jeevan mission and Margdarshika for Gram Panchayats and Pani Samitis under Jal Jeevan mission was also unveiled by the Prime Minister.
जल जीवन मिशन भारत के गांवों में हर घर तक शुद्ध जल पाइप से पहुंचाने का ये बहुत बड़ा अभियान है। मिशन का लोगो निरंतर इस बात की प्रेरणा देगा कि पानी की एक एक बूंद को बचाना आवश्यक है।
The Prime Minister said that in Uttarakhand, sewage treatment plant capacity has been increased 4 times following the expansion of the sewage system in the state. He said the river Ganga, from its origin in Uttarakhand to the Ganga Sagar in West Bengal, enriches the lives of about half of the country's population, and therefore the cleanliness of the Ganga is necessary. He said his government moved forward with new thinking and new approach and did not limit the Namami Ganga mission to the cleanliness of Ganga and made it the largest and comprehensive river conservation program in the country.
हमने नमामि गंगे मिशन को सिर्फ गंगा जी की साफ सफाई तक ही सीमित नहीं रखा, बल्कि इसे देश का सबसे बड़ा और विस्तृत नदी संरक्षण कार्यक्रम बनाया। सरकार ने चारों दिशाओं में एक साथ काम आगे बढ़ाया। आज इस चौतरफा काम का परिणाम हम सभी देख रहे हैं। आज नमामि गंगे कार्यक्रम के तहत 30,000 करोड़ रुपए से अधिक की परियोजनाओं पर या तो काम चल रहा है या फिर पूरा हो चुका है।
The Prime Minister informed that the government is developing an organic farming corridor on the bank of River Ganga. The other plants inaugurated by the Prime Minister are 26 MLD sewage treatment plant at Lakkadghat in Rishikesh, 5 MLD sewage treatment plant at Chorpani, and 2 plants with capacities of 1 MLD and 0.01 MLD at Badrinath. The government has implemented 3 acts with an aim to transform agriculture sector in the country and raise farmers' income. These acts are Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act 2020, the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Act 2020, and the Essential Commodities Amendment Act 2020. In his Mann Ki Baat on All India Radio on Sunday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said how farmers were benefited after fruits and vegetables were excluded from the APMC Act. A report from our correspondent.
The new laws aims at creating additional trading opportunities outside the APMC market yards to help farmers get remunerative prices due to additional competition. This will supplement the existing MSP procurement system, which is providing stable income to farmers. The new laws will create an ecosystem where the farmers and traders will enjoy freedom of choice of sale and purchase of agri-produce. It will open more choices for the farmer, reduce marketing costs for the farmers, and help them in getting better prices. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today said that agricultural produce market committees are functioning and farmers are selling their produce in the mandis. Refuting the allegations of the opposition that farmers are unable to sell their produce on minimum support price, MSP, the minister said the government has announced the MSP of the various food grains. He expressed hope that all the farmers of Punjab and Haryana will go to the mandis and sell their produce. On Congress protest over the recent farm bills, the minister said Congress has got disconnected the people and has forgotten its promises. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh has alleged that farmers are being misled on agricultural laws by vested interests. Dr. Singh said that the contract agreement as per the Act brought in through the new agricultural laws will be for the crops and not for the land. He launched a campaign from his Lok Sabha constituency in support of the farmers' laws brought in by the Narendra Modi government and against the disinformation being spread by the Congress party. The Union Minister said, while the bill clearly prohibits sale, lease or mortgage of farmers' land, Dr. Jitendra Singh asked where is the question of farmers' land being taken over by certain capitalists as being alleged. He said the Farm Bill clearly states that the agreement will be for the crops and not for the land. India has rejected China's position that it abides by its 1959 stand on the perception of the Line of Actual Control (LAC) and asked the neighbouring country to refrain from advancing an untenable unilateral interpretation of the de facto border. Responding to a query on media report quoting a Chinese Foreign Ministry statement regarding Chinese position on the LAC, MEA spokesperson Anurag Srivastava said India has never accepted the so-called unilaterally defined 1959 Line of Actual Control (LAC), and this position has been consistent and well known, including to the Chinese side. The spokesperson referred to various bilateral agreements, including the 1993 Agreement on Maintenance of Peace and Tranquility along the LAC 1996 Pact on Confidence-Building Measures in the Military Field, 2005 Protocol on Implementation of Confidence-Building Measures, and the 2005 Agreement on Political Parameters and Guiding Principles for Settlement of the Boundary Issue. He said under their various bilateral agreements, both India and China have committed to clarification and confirmation of the LAC to reach a common understanding of the alignment of the LAC. Mr. Srivastava said the two sides had engaged in an exercise to clarify and confirm the LAC up to 2003, but this process could not proceed further as the Chinese side did not show a willingness to pursue it. India has protested the announcement of elections to so-called Gilgit-Baltistan Legislative Assembly by Pakistan. The External Affairs Ministry today reiterated that Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, including the areas of so-called Gilgit and Baltistan, are an integral part of India by virtue of its accession in 1947. It said Pakistan government has no locus standi on territories illegally and forcibly occupied by it. New Delhi has also completely rejected the recent actions such as the so-called Gilgit-Baltistan Elections and Caretaker Government Amendment Order 2020 and continued attempts by the Pakistan establishment to bring material changes in areas under its illegal and forcible occupation. It said actions such as these can neither hide the illegal occupation of parts of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh by Pakistan, nor the grave human rights violation, exploitation and denial of freedom to the people residing in Pak-occupied territories for the past 7 decades. India has called upon Pakistan to immediately vacate all areas under its illegal occupation. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will visit Tokyo on the 6th of October for bilateral consultations with his Japanese counterpart. The two ministers are expected to discuss bilateral and regional issues of mutual interest. During the two-day visit, the External Affairs Minister will also participate in the second India, Australia, Japan, USA ministerial meeting. The foreign ministers of all 4 countries will discuss the post-COVID-19 international order and the need for a coordinated response to the various challenges emerging from the pandemic. They will also discuss regional issues and collectively affirm the importance of maintaining a free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. Dr. Jaishankar will also hold bilateral consultations with foreign ministers of Australia and the US during his visit.
Government today said over 51 lakh patients have recovered from COVID-19, which is highest in the world. Briefing media in New Delhi, Union Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan said India's COVID-19 cases per million population is amongst the lowest in the world. Mr. Bhushan said as on today, 15.4% of the total COVID-19 cases are active and 83.01% are recovered cases.
आज की तिथि में देश में जो एक्टिव केस हैं वो केवल 15% हैं कुल केसेस के और जो रिकवर्ड केस हैं वो 83%. 83% are the recovered cases and 15.4% are the active cases. So the percentage of active cases, as you would see, has shown continuous and sustained decline from 15 September till date.
He said more than 7.30 crore tests have been conducted and over 77 lakh tests were conducted last week. The Health Secretary, however, said ICMR seroprevalence has revealed that considerable population is still vulnerable to SARS-CoV-2. He said the country has the capability of conducting over 15 lakh tests a day, and we should not be too concerned about the fact that day on day, the number of tests have either declined or increased sharply. He said around 10 lakh tests conducted every day this month. Member Health in Niti Aayog, Dr. V.K. Paul said India has managed the pandemic to a very large extent and it is in control. He urged people to be very vigilant as winter months are favorable for respiratory viruses. Dr. Paul urged everyone to wear a mask and maintain social distancing. Director General of Indian Council of Medical Research, Dr. Balram Bhargav said,
we have to stick or adhere to our 5T strategy, which is test, track, trace, treat and use of technology, which is Arogya Setu or Itihas app have to be used, and the non-pharmacological interventions like physical distancing, use of mask, hand hygiene, cough etiquette are still essential and continue to remain essential, and people-centric and risk-focused interventions have to be done more in urban slums, then urban non-slums and then in rural settings. Is that in light of the upcoming festivities, in light of the winter season and mass gathering, containment strategies must be implemented by the states most effectively.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has stressed upon the maximum testing of persons from high-risk group related to COVID-19 and to strengthen the surveillance system to curb the spread of infection. He has also instructed officials to pay special attention and improve the recovery rate of COVID patients in Lucknow and Kanpur city. More from our correspondent.
Presiding over a review meeting today, the Chief Minister said that the public should be informed about the spread of corona infection through different mediums. He asked to improve the public address system. Till now, the public address system has been established at more than 6,000 places in the state, and the strategy is to establish it at more than 15,000 places with the coordination of different departments. Yesterday, the government conducted the highest number of COVID tests till date, and more than 160,000 persons were tested. The recovery rate in the state has also increased to 85.34%. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures farmers on continuity of guaranteed MSP and government procurement of agriculture produce. Prime Minister says 2 crore families have been provided with pure drinking water under Jal Jeevan Mission in just 1 year. New Delhi says India has never accepted China's unilaterally defined 1959 line of actual control, and this position has been consistent. Government says over 51 lakh patients recovered from COVID-19, which is highest in the world. Recovery rate improves to 83.01%. Noted filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor appointed as President of the FTII Society and Chairman of the FTII Governing Council. In IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals face Sunrisers Hyderabad in Abu Dhabi. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
All India Radio presents World News. News and views from across the globe. What happened? What is up next? The newsmakers and the highlights of the day. Every day at 10:20 p.m. in the night. On 100.1 FM, All India Radio.
In Karnataka, number of COVID-19 cases has reached 5,82,458, in which 1,04,048 are active and 4,69,750 have recovered. The state has recorded the recovery rate of 80.6% and fatality rate of 1.5%. There are 14 districts in the state that have a reduced positivity rate, 7 districts have sustained levels, and 9 districts have a positivity rate at the higher level. The research officer in Health and Family Department, Mohammad Sharif, has said that efforts are on to increase testing in the state. The Tamil Nadu government has extended the present lockdown till October 31st. In a statement today in Chennai, Chief Minister Edappadi K. Palaniswamy has said some more relaxations have been announced in the next phase of the unlock. They include doubling of the arrival of international flights in Chennai airport and extension of working hours for the hotels and tea stalls. More from a correspondent.
The recent government order permitting students of 10th, 11th and 12th standard students to visit their schools to get their doubts clarified has been withdrawn, as stated by the Chief Minister. Now it is decided to consult the parents before taking a final call on the subject. All educational institutions, cinema halls, tourist places and museums have been asked to remain shut down. The Chennai suburban train service will also remain suspended. Film shooting has been permitted on condition that the maximum number of people at a time should be capped at 100. The announcement comes close on the heels of the Chief Minister's online interaction with all the district collectors and the direct consultations with the state-appointed team of medical experts. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In Tripura, 433 new cases of coronavirus infection have been detected in the past 24 hours. 3 patients died while 244 patients were discharged after recovering during the past 24 hours. The total number of cases has reached 24,921 in the state. According to the State Medical Bulletin, so far 19,180 patients of COVID-19 have been discharged after recovery. The rate of recovery has also increased to 77.03%. In the state, so far 270 patients have died of the infection. Today is the World Heart Day, aimed at drawing people's attention to heart ailments and the whole range of associated health issues. This initiative was launched in 2000 by the World Heart Federation as an annual event and gets celebrated on 29th day of September ever since.
Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Prakash Javadekar today said that work done by the various agencies for controlling the pollution level in Delhi and adjoining states will be reviewed on the 1st of October. Addressing an event in New Delhi, he said people of Delhi, Haryana, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Punjab face the problem of grim pollution levels in the winter season due to stubble burning. He said the central government, in collaboration with the state government, started work in the year 2016 to provide relief to people from the pollution air shed. He informed that environment ministers of Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Delhi and Uttar Pradesh, along with other officials, will virtually participate in the meeting on 1st October, wherein all the review of the work will be done. Listing out the various initiatives taken by the central government to reduce the pollution level in the country, Mr. Javadekar said Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched the National Air Quality Index in 2016. He said Badarpur and Sonipat power plants have been phased out and peripheral expressway has been constructed. The minister added that BS6 compliant vehicles and various waste management rules also played instrumental role in curbing the pollution level.
मंत्री स्तर की इस साल की बैठक 1 अक्टूबर को होगी। यह वर्चुअल होगी इस बार। पंजाब, हरियाणा, दिल्ली, राजस्थान, उत्तर प्रदेश के पर्यावरण मंत्री, पर्यावरण सचिव, पोल्यूशन कंट्रोल बोर्ड के अध्यक्ष, संबंधित अन्य अधिकारी और राज्यों के साथ साथ जो कॉरपोरेशन सिटीज है, तो कॉरपोरेशन, डीडीए, एनडीएमसी, ऐसी एजेंसी जो है, उनके भी प्रमुख इस मीटिंग में हाजिर होंगे।
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh launched the Defence India Startup Challenge DISC4 during the IDEX event, featuring the initiatives aimed at expanding the horizons of innovations for defence excellence IDEX ecosystem in New Delhi today. Mr. Singh also launched the IDEX for 4G initiative and Product Management Approach PMA guidelines during the event. IDEX for 4G is a first-of-its-kind initiative launched to support innovations identified by members of the Indian Armed Forces and will bolster frugal innovations ideas from soldiers and field formations. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Singh said IDEX initiative stands out as one of the most effective and well-executed defence startup ecosystem created in the country. He said it would be a decisive step towards achieving self-reliance in the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. Home Ministry today said that human rights cannot be an excuse for defying the law of the land. In a statement, it said the stand taken and the statements made by Amnesty International are unfortunate, exaggerated and far from truth. The Home Minister said Amnesty International had received permission under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act FCRA only once, and that too 20 years ago on the 19th of December 2000. It said since then Amnesty International, despite its repeated applications, has been denied the FCRA approval by successive governments since, as per the law, it is not eligible to get such an approval. The ministry said, however, in order to circumvent the FCRA regulations, Amnesty UK remitted large amounts of money to 4 entities registered in India by classifying it as a foreign direct investment FDI.
The BJP today alleged that Amnesty International is involved in multiple illegalities and it has no right to lecture on propriety. Addressing a press conference at the party headquarters in New Delhi, party spokesperson Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore said, any organization can work in India but it cannot violate the laws and regulations of the country. He said wearing a veil of honesty and acting in bad faith is not something we will permit to Indian or foreign organizations. Mr. Rathore also alleged that Amnesty International received foreign funds illegally. He said in 2009, Amnesty International's license had been rejected by the UPA government for receiving foreign funds and their operations were suspended.
इनके पास इनके खाते में 10 करोड़ रुपए आए और इन्होंने उसे एफडीआई बताया और उसके बाद 26 करोड़ रुपए और आए और उन्होंने उसे भी एफडीआई घोषित करा और ऐसा होने के बाद में इन्फोर्समेंट डायरेक्टरेट को इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू करनी पड़ी कि बिना कानून के बिना अनुमति के एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संस्था भारत में पैसे लेकर आ रही है और आंख में धूल झोंकने के लिए 4-4 कंपनियां बना रही है। ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन शुरू हुई और रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया ने सभी बैंकों को ये आदेश दे दिए कि एमएनएसटी प्रायर रेफरेंस कैटेगरी की कैटेगरी में डाल दी जाती है।
Noted filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor has been named as the president of Film and Television Institute of India, FTII Society, and chairman of Governing Council of FTII. Mr. Kapoor has directed several films, many of which are critically acclaimed. The movies include Masoom, Mr. India, Barrett Queen, and Elizabeth. Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Zavadekar said, Mr. Kapoor, who has a vast experience, will add more value to the institute. He expressed confidence that everybody will welcome his appointment. The full Election Commission team led by Chief Election Commissioner Sunil Arora reached Patna this evening to review preparedness for the upcoming Bihar Assembly elections. The team is on a 3-day tour to Bihar. The Chief Election Commissioner is accompanied by Election Commissioners Sushil Chandra and Rajiv Kumar. Soon after arrival at Patna, the Chief Election Commissioner is holding a review meeting with Bihar Chief Electoral Officer and nodal officers. Tomorrow, the Election Commission team will hold meeting with representatives of different political parties. The team will also hold a review meeting in Patna with DMs and SPs of 26 districts. The Election Commission today announced by-poll schedule for 1 Lok Sabha seat in Bihar and 56 Assembly constituency in other 11 states. The voting for 54 Assembly seats in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Odisha, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Telangana and Nagaland will take place on 3rd November this year.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The weatherman has forecast mainly clear sky in the national capital. The maximum and the minimum temperatures in Delhi are likely to hover around 37 degrees Celsius and 22 degrees Celsius. In Mumbai, rain or thunder showers would occur towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature in the city is likely to be around 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 32 degrees. In Chennai, the weatherman has forecast generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperatures in the city is likely to hover between 24 and 35 degrees Celsius. Moving on to the northern part of the country, in Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature is likely to be around 21 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum is expected to be around 35 degrees. A mainly clear sky will prevail in the city. In Srinagar, the temperature will be between 9 and 27 degrees Celsius. The city will witness mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. Ladakh will see mainly clear sky. Gilgit will experience a partly cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Temperature will hover between 11 and 26 degrees Celsius. Sky in Muzaffarabad will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or evening. In IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad were 117 for 2 in 15 overs against Delhi Capitals in Abu Dhabi when reports last came in. Earlier, Delhi won the toss and elected to field. Both teams have faced contrasting fortunes in the 13th season of the Indian Premier League so far. Last night, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeated Mumbai Indians in Super Over after the original game was tied in Dubai. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi assures farmers on continuity of guaranteed MSP and government procurement of agriculture produce. Prime Minister says 2 crore families have been provided with pure drinking water under the Jal Jeevan mission in just 1 year. New Delhi says India has never accepted China's unilaterally defined 1959 line of actual control and this position has been consistent. Government says over 51 lakh patients recovered from COVID-19, which is highest in the world. Recovery rate improves to 83.01%. Noted filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor appointed as president of FTII Society and chairman of the FTII Governing Council. And in IPL cricket, Delhi Capitals face Sunrisers Hyderabad in Abu Dhabi. And we leave you with Bapu's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Janto, sung by artists from Israel. And that is all in the evening news. Good night.